Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Dagger. Today I'm going to be showing you how to draw a traditional or old school style dagger tattoo design. Let's just jump straight into it, to the overhead. Okay guys, so as I said, today we're doing a traditional or old school style dagger with some skin rips, so it looks like it's poking through the skin. We're going to start with Fabriano hot press watercolor paper as usual. And we're also going to be using a mechanical pencil. You can use any lead pencil you've got to do your pre-sketch. I like to use a mechanical pencil because it gives me really thin, fine lines to work with, and therefore I can build up a few layers before it starts to get a bit too messy. But you guys know I use a mechanical pencil anyways. So the dagger can be any sort of shape. It can be a straight dagger or a curved dagger, a recurved dagger. I'm going to be doing a curved dagger today. But just keep in mind all of the little design tips and tricks that I'll be putting on this today you can apply to all of your other style and shaped daggers with just a little bit of tweaking. So we're going to start in the upper right corner, and we're going to do we're going to bring a line down from the top of the circle here, following our curve. And another line underneath our middle guide that's just going to join back up into this circle. From here what we're going to do is create the shape for our blade. So we're going to come down from the same line as the handle here. I'm going to bring that line to about there, and then bring it sharply down on an angle like that. We're going to do the same thing underneath. And just join it up. Now I want the belly of the knife to be really wide down in this area, so the further you drop this line down, the wider the belly of the blade is going to be. From this corner here, we're going to draw a line connecting to this center line, and from there it's going to connect to this point, the point of the blade, or the very tip of the blade. Now to create the guard for the blade, we're going to basically curve another line next to it, or we'll go underneath here. And we're going to split that line off and then join it back in behind the blade. Another little detail you're going to want to do is at the halfway point between the two lines here, you're going to draw a straight line coming up like that to a little peak, and then back down to roughly where the center would be here. Okay. And that'll be where your blade joins into the guard. At the very at the top area of the guard, we're going to draw a little circle that's just going to join back in to the longer curve here. And draw a circle in the middle of our bigger circle here. You want this circle to be pretty neat, so I'm going to use a little circle tool. If you don't have this, you can just freehand it. It's just a little bit more difficult, but freehanding it is just fine as well. From here, we're going to follow this curve around, coming off the handle, and do a little point like that. I'm going to curve that around and back into the handle. And I might do another one exactly the same underneath. And then we're going to come in and do the belly of the handle. And I want the belly of the handle to look a little bit like the belly of a snake, sort of like it's padded. So we're just going to do these little curved bumps, these little curved lines. Now to put in the place for our skin rips, we're going to draw a curved line that follows a very similar shape to our guard. And we're going to do the first one roughly here. And the second one I'll probably do about here. Now you want to do smaller lines behind your skin rips that are going to join behind the knife like this. And the other one on the other side. In the middle of these skin rips, we're just going to do a little wave. It'll look something like this. And for the bottom one, we'll do the same. Now around both of these skin rips, you're going to do some little blood droplets. Now these are just little teardrop shapes. I find that if you keep them really straight like this, as opposed to doing like a little curved teardrop shape, if you keep them nice and straight, it looks a little bit more old school. It looks a little bit more traditional. Maybe that's just something that I've sort of picked up a habit of doing, but I think it tends to look a little bit better if they're straight. And that's just a style thing. Like I've said many times, this is all about your personal style and what you want to do. So yeah, do whatever shape you want to do for the little droplets, but they're basically like little teardrop shapes, and you're going to do them around both of those skin tears. Now, just so you don't get confused at the later stage when you're inking this, I'm going to go ahead now and erase these 3 lines. They're not necessary because they are in between the skin rips, so you wouldn't see that part of the blade. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that. That way it's a little bit less confusing. Okay, from here, we've got a pretty good looking blade. I'm going to add a little bit of design work to the back of the actual knife blade. You don't have to do this. This is an optional style thing. I think it looks really nice, and it adds a little bit of detail and intricacy to the design. Otherwise it's really simple and can be a little bit boring unless you have other elements going on. So we're going to start from our little center point here. We're going to come up and do a swirl just like that. And at the end of it, I'm just going to loop it back on itself. Alright, and from behind that one, I'm going to come up and do the same. The second swirl should touch your first one, like this. It doesn't have to, but that's the way I like to do it. From the back of that small one, we're going to do another little curve like that. Maybe from underneath here, we can just do a little curved line. Not all of them need to be complete circle curves. You can just do like these small little lines. Maybe I'll throw another little one in here. For the bottom half of the blade, it's going to be very similar. We're just going to throw in some curved lines. So I'll start at the bottom again. Might come up and do a curve. Just like that. Now maybe coming off of this will be another little line like that. Do another little curve from the bottom that touches the first one. And I might do some straight curves like this, coming from above. Okay, the rough sketch is finished. I'm going to go in and ink this thing now. So I'm just going to be using 2 sizes today. I've got an Artline 0.5 and I'm also using an Artline 0.8. These are both fine liners. You could use Copic multi-liners if you wanted to. It's completely up to you. You guys know how I do my line work. I do all of my thin lines and then go in with the thicker liner and boost up the lines that I want to be a little bit thicker, the things I want to stand out. Like I've said before, if you need more in-depth instruction on line boosting or even just inking in general, let me know. I can do another video on it. But for now, like I said, you know how I do my inking. I'm just going to go in and ink this up, and I'll see you in the next part. Now just a quick little tip regarding the tip of the knife. I want the knife to look a little bit 3D, like it's coming forward at us a little bit. So you can actually take a Sharpie and outline the edges of the tip of the knife, and that'll make it, that'll push it forward a little bit. So I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so I'm always going on about line boosting, making parts stand out, maybe look a bit thicker, or adding depth to the picture before you even start shading or coloring it. And so what you can see that I've done here is I've left most of the handle and the lines back here nice and thin. The lines on the sides of the blade here, I've used a 0.8 and I've actually gone over it twice and I've tapered it so it's a little bit thicker here towards the tear and a little bit thinner towards the handle. And then for the very end of the blade, I've gone in with a Sharpie and I've boosted that entire outline to make it really bold. And what this does is it pushes the handle back a little bit and it brings the blade forward as though it's sort of coming off the page a little bit. It just adds a little bit of depth before you start shading. So we're using an Ecoline brush pen. This is the black one. And we're also going to be using our watercolor brush for blending as always. So starting in the top area of the blade, we're going to go in and add a little waterline here. And then take our black and come straight across the top, just like this. You then want to take your brush and just gently blend it out. And we're going to do the same thing starting from this middle line. We're going to do a little line of water. Just like that. Come in with our black. And then back in with the watercolor brush to blend. Now for the very tip of the blade, what we're going to do is come in with a little bit of black and take our watercolor brush and just blend that out. Okay, coming in now to do the handle of the blade. We're going to do the guard first, and from the corner of this curved diamond shape that we've created, we're going to do a little bit of black, taking our watercolor brush and blending that out. And we're going to do the same thing from the bottom. From the outside of the guard here. And blend it. And from the bottom of the guard. the actual handle of the blade itself, we're going to come in, do a little curved line like that, and just blend that out a little bit. In from the corner here, we're going to do the same thing. Each of these little curves, they're pretty straightforward. We're going to come into the very corner of them down here. And blend that out following the curve. Not sure if I mentioned this earlier, but this little circle that we did in the beginning, this is actually going to be a little gemstone. So we're going to come in and do a little line, a little circle line to indicate a highlight. Is take your black and come down from that circle, following it all the way around, and then take your watercolor brush and just blend it out. To shade our fancy little pattern that we've done on the back of the blade here, we're going to do some black like that, and just gently blend that out. The last thing that you need to shade will be the little skin tears and the blood droplets. So for the skin tears, you're just going to go in from the corners, do a little bit of black. For the teardrops, you're going to do basically the same thing, starting in the corner of the teardrop and blending out. Okay guys, we have a pretty solid black and grey design here. You could leave it at that. It's a really nice design, but we're going to go ahead and color it. We're only going to be using 3 colors. We're going to use Ecoline Red or Scarlet for basically a lot of it. We're doing the skin tears in that color, all of the blood droplets in that color, the very tip of the blade will be that color, and the belly of the handle. And we're also going to be using our deep yellow, which is sort of a golden yellow color, and we're going to do our little ornamental bits, the blade guard, and that's what we'll use the yellow for. And we're also going to be using a green. This is a Copic Emerald green. I just don't have a very nice green in the Ecoline brush pen, so I'm just using a Copic marker. You could use whatever green you've got. If you've got a green Ecoline, that'll do just fine. And we're just using it to color in our little gemstone. So I'm going to go ahead and color this now. You can follow along, and I'll see you at the end. Okay guys, that's it. That was the traditional dagger design. It's a really good gap filler if you're drawing flash sheets, like tattoo flash sheets. For example, this one that I did not that long ago. And you can see on this one, it fills the 2 corners pretty well and doesn't leave too much gap because we've got the skin tear in the middle, which means I can put other designs in between. So if you have some gaps on your flash sheet that you want to fill in, that's always a good option. And it can also be used in larger designs like this. And this is sort of my favorite style of blade to draw, but you can draw them in all sorts of different fashions. Like I said, straight daggers, you could do a curved dagger or a recurved dagger, anything you'd like. Anyways guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment in the comment section down below. Give me a thumbs up. Make sure you head on over to my Facebook page at Dagger Designs for all of my online portfolio, any upcoming work, and to just keep up to date with what I'm doing. And if you like this content guys, if you like what I make, please hit the subscribe button down below. Don't forget to hit the notification bell though, so that you do get notified every time a new video gets posted. Alright guys, that was it for today's video, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.